knew it would antagonize Beijing, but that hasn't stopped Nancy Pelosi, America's third highest ranking politician, from paying a high-level visit to Taiwan. She's just met the Taiwanese president after addressing Parliament and made it clear the US would not abandon the island. China views Taiwan as its own, and the Foreign Ministry summoned the US ambassador in Beijing to protest against Pelosi's high-profile trip. Mark Lobel has the latest.
Side by side with Taiwan's president, America's third most powerful politician, an act of provocation or a necessary show of support. Nancy Pelosi's delayed high-profile visit was never without risk. China's anger has led to the US ambassador there being summoned as Pelosi is handed an award for her strong ties to Taiwan.
Today, our delegation, of which I'm very proud, came to Taiwan to make unequivocally clear we will not abandon our commitment to Taiwan, and we are proud of our enduring friendship.
President Tsai thanking Speaker Pelosi for her unwavering support.
Facing deliberately heightened military threats, Taiwan will not back down. We will firmly uphold our nation's sovereignty and continue to hold the line of defense for democracy.
China insists the self-ruled democratic island is in fact part of its territory. But an increasing number of young Taiwanese are learning basic gun skills. Others are going even deeper, fearing China may do as Russia has done in Ukraine.
This is my home country. Yeah, this is all I want to protect it. I want to live here with my family, that's all.
Analysts say the risk of an imminent military conflict is low, but point to significant military traffic around the Taiwan Strait, creating a risk of accident or miscalculation.
Previous crises over Taiwan back in the 90s were really driven by events from Taipei. And now it's really, I think, a result of both sides, the US and China, seeing the other as the aggressor and as the one that is changing the delicate status quo.
But despite China's less than subtle messaging in this military video released ahead of the US Speaker's visit, the Biden administration wants to avoid this triggering a crisis.
We've said that we oppose any unilateral changes to the status quo from either side. We've said we do not support Taiwan independence. And we've said, as I said again yesterday, that we expect cross-strait differences to be resolved by peaceful means.
For these two key trading partners then, not a trading of blows, but an immediate pause on goods. As a result of Speaker Pelosi's visit, bans on citrus fruits and some fish exports from Taiwan, while exports of sand blocked the other way. Low-level disapproval, awkward diplomacy, and a threat of much worse. Taiwan's status remains uncomfortable. Mark Lobel, BBC News.
Well, Dr. Oriana Skylar Mastro is from Stanford University and a non-resident senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute and is in Stanford now, joining us live from California. A warm welcome to the programme. So, was it right for Nancy Pelosi to make this visit to Taiwan now?
Honestly, whether it's Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan or President Biden making statements that the United States will absolutely defend Taiwan, all this political maneuvering, I get the logic. They want to signal U.S. commitment, but it's not helping. It just provokes Beijing, gives them the moral high ground, and in the end does not address the serious issue at hand, which is the United States military capability to defend Taiwan.
So in your opinion, then, you believe this was not helpful at all? Perhaps she should have decided not to go?
So if it was just the initial decision, I would have strongly urged her not to go. But once the White House clearly indicated that they wanted her not to go, then I thought she had to. It's kind of convoluted, but a big part of U.S. strategy is to convey to Beijing that we have separation of powers in the United States, that the White House can't dictate what Congress does. If it looks like the White House then prevented Nancy Pelosi from going, then we're going to have so many headaches when it comes to Congress passing, other legislation, arms sales, and all sorts of things. The Taiwan Relations Act, for example, is predicated on the idea that Congress acted independently.
So what do you think the fallout will be?
In general, I predicted before that Beijing was not going to in any way threaten Speaker Pelosi directly. They were going to take advantage of the situation to make operational gains. So I know we look at a lot of the military exercises that now China's preparing for as some sort of signaling device, but it's actually worse than that. They're using this as an excuse to test some of their military capabilities to take the island by force under the guise of political maneuverings.
What about the timing of this, given the invasion of Ukraine on the part of Russia? China, of course, in a close relationship with Russia, watching Russia's actions. You're thinking on the timing?
So 99% of the calculation in Beijing about when to take Taiwan by force is about their assessment of their own military capabilities. So I know we look a lot at what is the United States doing, what is Russia doing, but for the most part, Xi Jinping is just waiting for his military to be ready. And they've engaged now in almost a decade-long military reform program that's coming to an end. They want to do realistic exercises like the ones they're doing right now, multiple theaters, large-scale mobilizations, multiple services working together. They want to check that command and control and joint logistics works, which are just two areas of military operations where Russia has struggled in Ukraine.
If this were to escalate, though, we've seen that the relations between US and China are really frayed, certainly during the Trump administration with, a trade war kicked off. There could be huge consequences, couldn't there? Even if it was just an increase of trade sanctions and that sort of situation being upped, the ante, as it were.
It's not only the United States and China that suffers when there are increased tensions between the two countries, but obviously all countries in the region and even U.S. allies and partners elsewhere. European countries, for example, the European Union is the #1 trading partner of China. So tensions between China and the United States have global impacts in the economic, political, and military realms.
And in terms of how this is being read in the United States, the domestic audience, are they interested? How does it play into the politics in the U.S.?
Well, for Congress, it's always been a very popular topic for congressmen, senators to stand up for Taiwan. That's why you see a lot of bipartisan support about this.
But what about the general public? I'm more interested in the view, in general. We've got the midterms coming up. Is there an interest or not?
So there's very little interest. I would say the American people, whether or not they would support really the United States paying significant costs for the defense of Taiwan, is an unknown entity at this point.
Okay, interesting. Dr. Oriana Skylar Mastro, thank you. Good to talk to you.